Welcome on in to the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, 650 in Vancouver, and Sportsnet Plus. Derek Brandeo, Jake the Snake Schultz, Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. As always, this hour, Real Kyper and Bourne, brought to you by Bet365. We've got a trade.
We've got one. We got 4 trades here in the last couple weeks.
I still think there's going to be more.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Vancouver Canuck fans, welcome in Evander Kane.
It is truly very funny to be like.
Oh, I was just going to say, I got one off my board that came out yesterday. Yeah, he was on there. So
I was just double checking. Yeah, he was on the board.
He was on the board.
It's just truly very funny.
You can put it on the board.
Our dressing room is an issue. We brought in Evander Kane, and not that Kane is necessarily going to turf that, but he doesn't have a reputation as like a galvanizing leader.
They got rid of a player with an ornery reputation in JT Miller. Yeah. Did they
a way better one? By the way,
did they bring another one in?
I guess they're looking at the on ice stuff and going, "Hey, we need someone who's tough and bigger, stronger, can shoot it in."
No one will ever take away the talent level or what he's able to do on the ice when it comes to Evander Kane. He is a very gifted athlete.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
sure, there's a real but where there's been off-ice stuff in the past. And I don't know, guys. How do you think Canuck fans are feeling about it today? What's your guess?
I think that there's a risk, obviously, taking him on. But he's a good player who is in a contract year. And, you're trying to be good. Like, he is a good contributor. I understand all that. But bailing out a division rival, like not having them eat any money or not having them have to sweeten the pot more than what they gave up to get him. I don't know. I just felt like they're doing a division rival a huge favor by just getting them off that money totally and just kind of having that off their books. That was the first thing that came to mind when I saw that trade. It's like, oh, no retention, no nothing. Like, it's just, was it just a 4th round pick? Like, I don't know.
It just sounds like Edmonton just couldn't get rid of this guy fast enough.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't have to sweeten it at all for, like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I can see Jim Rutherford being like, we're not tough enough. We are not heavy enough. We need some more of this, whatever. I can see why they thought that made sense. His contract is affordable, 5.125, I think, somewhere around there is what he's making.
5.125, yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah. So, I mean, I can see the logic from that perspective, but does it matter, Kip, about a team being in your division anymore? Like, is it relevant to be like, this is a team you're going to be going up against?
Yeah, not like it used to be. Mm-hmm. Like we know still under a cap system now, if you really want to get rid of a guy or get him out of your room or lose the money off of a contract, then sometimes beggars can't be choosers here. So if they had a taker in Vancouver, be it in your division, in the Western Conference, or otherwise, you just take the opportunity.
You know what stood out to me was we heard in the wake, as like soon as Florida won the Cup, not long after, you heard rumors that the league was going to look into the NHL's LTIR or the Oilers' LTIR of Kane. Like there were rumors about that, which seems strange.
Yeah, no, there are
pretty rich
reports.
Pretty rich.
And so,
considering some of the other chicanery that's gone on the first time a Canadian
do you think
team
some of this had anything to do with just unloading him this quickly?
No, I don't necessarily think it's related to that, though it's not impossible. But it's what did stand out to me is that you'd also heard some rumors that maybe Kane didn't want to sit out as long as he did, and he did a favor to the team, and maybe he was upset. But then immediately, the way the breakup happened, Kane posted this beautiful thing about love and respect for the organization and fans, and the organization, love and respect for Evander Kane. Like, whatever happened here, they ended up on really good terms somehow.
He had that ready to rock.
He did, yeah.
He was like, it was in the draft.
He wrote that and was waiting to fill in the team that he was going to.
Oh, he had it last March at the trade deadline.
Yeah. And, hometown guy, going back there, wanted to go there. I believe he played for the Vancouver Giants, if I'm not mistaken.
I wonder if that's part of it. Like, if he was like part of the why he's happy with Edmonton is they sent him to Vancouver.
So, I don't know. I just think that for Vancouver, You're getting a legit NHL player, and he's had some injury issues. He's had some cleared room issues. We all know that story. But the side of me that I'll just never understand is bailing out the Oilers when they're clearly desperate to clear cap to kind of get some Connor McDavid help. I'm just surprised that they would just not ask for a bit of retention or anything like that. So maybe there's other teams bidding on him. So maybe
Oilers
that's
signed Kane for nothing, right? Out of a sort of
coming off of was it the dispute with the
buyout? It was some sort
Sharks
of bankruptcy.
Yeah, it was a greasy
My point is
situation.
they turned that into a fourth and
Yeah.
get
No,
out
there
from
was a
under
lot
it.
of controversy over bringing him in and his off-ice challenges over the years, and probably there was some pushback a little bit, but it kind of settled in. And at the end of the day, Edmonton just valued the type of player that he is, and on face value, you can't find too many Evander Kane type of players out there, and that's probably the number one thing that Jimmy Rutherford and Patrick Alvin looked at, is that where else am I going to find a player that can play like this despite the warts?
Just better be a solid room, right?
Sure. Like our room.
Our room.
Solid.
But that's a huge part of it. If like Colorado's bringing him in, you understand it. Like he kind of kept it a little bit under wraps in Edmonton with that leadership group. It's just going there where it's just seems combustible.
It does
at
seem
best,
that way.
at worst.
All right, let's welcome in Jason Bukala from Pro Hockey, Sportsnet, of course, former NHL scout, presently in Los Angeles to get ready for Friday night's draft. Books, how are you, man? Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing great, Kyper. Thanks. Can I pipe off a bit about Kane? Do you
Please.
guys mind if I go there or what?
Buddy,
You're here to
it's
do
like
just
you're
that.
on. It's like you're hosting the show. You don't need permission. Just
Oh,
go.
sorry. All right. Well, listen. I know. I've seen you two in action behind the scenes. I got to stay in my lane. I know where I gotta be.
No, not with that shirt you're wearing today.
I like that one. Nice.
Love it. All right. What's your first thought when you heard for a fourth round pick, Jimmy Rutherford took Evander Kane?
I'm not even looking at the pick value. I'm with Sammy here. Maybe you guys talked about it even before came on. Why in the division or in the Western Conference make this deal? And I don't like Vancouver's dressing room as it is. Like, I really don't. And Evander Kane is a handful, fellas. He really is. Like, this guy's in Florida, piping off that he might take a helicopter to the rink. He's obviously had some financial difficulties away from the arena, and he's driving, Rolls Royces and all the. Listen, I know he's going home to Vancouver, and I know what the Canucks are trying to do here, add that level of a power forward into their group. But when he becomes the alpha in the dressing room, I don't like that mix whatsoever. I just don't. I don't get it, to be perfectly honest with you. That you eat all the money. Now you've got a situation where you got to hope that you're resetting the tone in your dressing room with a power guy. I get all the tangibles, but I just don't like it at all on the surface. I'm not a huge character fan of Evander Kane. I think he's a guy that you can insulate in a really strong room, and if you have a really good team. But when you're in transition, I'm not. I wouldn't have recommended it to Dale Talon if you put it on my plate back in the day.
Yeah, particularly when you're getting into your mid-30s out of a guy and maybe his numbers won't be as good and he'll be frustrated. We'll see how that works. So that, I guess, sort of tells us the Canucks plan to be good then. This is no rebuild. You think that they're a team that can turn it around next season?
I'm really curious, Borny, still to see what happens in the next couple of days here in Los Angeles. I think that the Pettersson thing, to me, is still floating around out there. There's so many. This team, a year and a half ago, I thought they were tracking in such a positive direction. Like, they were chasing culture for a long, long time, weren't they? They were going through coaches. They were going through different scenarios. And I still think now, after they had built that up and it went away, now they're going to try and reestablish culture. They make this deal, which is curious to me. But coming into the weekend here, I think that I'd be better positioned to answer that question after Friday night, because there's still a part of me that believes that Pettersson's no trade kicks in here. next week. There's still a part of me that believes that those conversations are going on out there. Kyper would know better than me when it comes to these types of things, but I can tell you from being in these scenarios in the past that we would milk it right through the draft just to be sure that we haven't turned over every stone. Like, you know, I was thinking about it yesterday. I was talking to Sammy on my way out here, Sammy Cause, and it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not creating rumors, but I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if Vancouver would get on the horn with a team like Buffalo and say, you know, will you take Pettersson and the 15th overall pick, and in return give us Paterka and Bowen for an example? Like, these are the types of things, and then you kind of reestablish your where they're going next week. So I don't have an answer for you directly. I think they're caught in transition. I don't know what they are right now quite yet.
You're watching and listening to Jason Bukala, who is in Los Angeles getting ready for Sportsnet's NHL Draft Friday night. Books, so for our listeners at Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, you've got uncertainty around Pettersson. You got uncertainty around Quinn Hughes. You got uncertainty with your goalie in Demko here. How important is it that Jimmy Rutherford and Patrick Allvin actually do something, including what you just mentioned with Buffalo, to at least let the fans know here that, you know, we don't want you all hanging indefinitely here? Like, what do you tell the fans here in terms of who do they hang their hat on in this organization?
Yeah, tough one, isn't it? I mean, obviously you want to hang your hat on Hughes for as long as you possibly can. He's the Bobby Orr of this generation, sort of, isn't he? Like, he's him and Makar, those types of players. I just, again, I'm perplexed about the Canucks. I've talked about them ad nauseum. I've been nauseated actually talking about them as much as I have been, and I still don't know at the goaltending position what Demko can provide next year. Let's assume he's 100% healthy. Seelovs, by the way, guys, just ran the table in the American Hockey League and won MVP of the Calder Cup playoffs, where the Abbotsford Canucks won the Calder Cup. And hey, how about Manny Malhotra keeping it together when he didn't get the big gig in Vancouver? Good on him, right? What a pro. But anyways, I digress. I think that you got to take a look at moving somebody else out still to bulk up the roster, if you will. Seelovs he can go back down to the minors next year. That's not going to be where he wants to be. So, you know, do you take a look at moving Demko out then? I would actually take a look at that. I really would. And opening up some more money. They need more. They need more down the middle of the ice. This Kane deal doesn't do it for me. They need more down the middle of the ice. When JT Miller went out, like, you don't have to have, you guys have all been in dressing rooms before. I'm not saying that you have to have all choir boys in your dressing room, but when the first move out of the box is adding Evander Kane, that's so far beyond a choir boy to ruffle feathers. They need more. And Pettersson, my trust on that is still low right now, even though he says he's doing all the right things. He's training. He's trying to get back into where he was. Boy, oh boy, I'm very uneasy, guys, as you can tell, about where things are going in Vancouver. So I'd be investigating all kinds of different options this weekend. I really would.
Just want to follow up the goaltending market. And yeah, it seems like at least Vancouver's got a strength there, right? With Lankinen and Shelovs in terms of what he's been able to do just recently to win a championship here. The Leafs, to a lesser degree, was also an organization that had some strength in the depth. I'm not sure where it all finishes out with a kind of a weak finish for their goaltending situation. But would teams be pouncing right now on Vancouver and to a lesser degree Toronto with such a shortage in net?
Yeah, I would think Vancouver more than Toronto right now, but there could be an argument made that there's similarities between Wall and Demko a little bit. Like, you could compare those two out. I think they'd be pouncing on Vancouver because they have Lankinen under contract. They signed him the extension. Of course, Shelovs is coming off what he just came off of here. So maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe the Canucks are thinking, well, maybe Shelovs is at the top of his value right now, and maybe we go down that road and try and acquire something that way. That could be possible as well. So, but yeah, they'll be circling there. And now that I sit here and think about it, I wonder in those Edmonton Oiler conversations if Shelov's name even came up for the Oilers. Like I don't know that. I'm just sitting here thinking about it. Like could that have been also in the equation? Because obviously the Oil need to do something in net, and Shelov's. I would take the risk on Shelov's being better than Pickard, and then whatever else happens there happens. But that would have been an upgrade.
Well, it is interesting that they've talked and got serious about trades, because certainly there may be a chance that as they move towards the draft or free agency, they'll say, hey, if this is still on the table, let's talk more. Curious to see if those two have any more contact or any more discussions. Want to make sure I get this in. Well, we have you. As following the Islanders this year, it seems like Schaefer is going to be their guy at the draft. Everyone's talking about Hagens. Is it Hagens or Hagens?
Hagens in my book. But,
Hagens, okay. Everyone's talking about Hagens in New York. Well, what's going on? Is there a chance for the Isles to get back in and end up with both kids?
So the rumor, like I'm not into this. Like as you guys know, the way that I do my work, I don't talk to any of the other members of the fraternity when I'm scouting players. I don't do that. Like,
but we like rumors, though. We like rumors.
I know. So I'll float one out there that I heard in the coffee shop this morning. I heard that Hagens could drop as low as 11, and I just about spilt it all over myself. Like, if he gets past Nashville and Boston, I would be shocked. So, to your point, Borny, if it starts to drop in that type of situation, imagine it this way. You've got Schaefer at 1, okay? Now, do we believe in Dobson going forward? Like, do we really believe in Dobson? And if you don't, do you pick up the phone and say, I'd really like to get Hagens too, because he's going to be a 1 and Schaefer's going to be a 1. And will my team be better if I trade Dobson out and I have those 2 players instead of Dobson? So this is how it would work at the head of the table. If I was running it, I would make a call if I see Hagens dropping to even 5 at Nashville. Nashville probably wouldn't get want a defenseman. But beyond that, I would absolutely pick up the phone and see if we can get aggressive that way and make a deal like that for sure. And it's the local kid. As you know, they want to put bodies in the seats. That's nice.
Yeah.
But you know what puts bodies in the seats even more than that? Playoff games.
Yeah.
And you got to build the right roster.
Where are you on Dobson, a guy that I have on my trade board? You can catch that on sportsnet.ca. A guy that had 70 points 2 years ago, who had great upside. I think the sense is, with an off season, that he plateaued or he didn't take a next step, but it won't stop some of these guys from asking for $10 million, once they get in a position to negotiate a contract. And are the Islanders now caught between let's move him or let's sign him like a few others?
I would say yes. I would say yes to that. And when you plateau, here's my problem with where we all talk about the salary cap going up, and we all talk about guys who had great years a couple years ago and now and then they plateaued, and what's their value at this point in time. Players have to start to take accountability for on-ice performance in relation to their ask at the contract table. And he plateaued last year for sure, Kyper. That team, though, they were pedestrian as a group, like 32nd in both special teams units, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this was a tough watch.
Wow.
So, but he was part of that problem too, and they got to be better. He's going to ask if it's not what I want to pay, and it's probably not, to be honest with you right now. That's why I'm entertaining all kinds of options there. The Islanders, you have to ask yourself the question. Dobson's a real good player. I really like Dobson, especially on the right shot situation. If he went to a contending team right now, trust me, he would be better than a secondary guy offensively. Well, let me throw it back at you guys this way. Like Evan Bouchard, for all of his offense, and he actually did play better defensively for 60% of the playoffs, I would say, for you guys, in my estimation, because I don't really like his defending. But wouldn't Dobson be in Edmonton? He wouldn't score as much, but he'd do some other things just marginally better than Bouchard. I think that's how teams would look at Dobson, right? So is he good for us, or is he good for somebody else out there? And where are we? Like, where is our team here? The Isles are, hey, Borny, their minor league system was atrocious this year. It's historically bad. Yeah. So they got so much going on here. It's, where are we in our window, I guess? And Matthew Darche, he's got his hands full there.
It's been bad. They've been bad for a long time in the farm system, so they do have some work to do. Books, we've seen trades happening already. I wanted to get your thoughts on the trade that sent Zegras to Philadelphia. A lot of people are being like, it doesn't seem like a huge win for Anaheim compared to maybe what they could have got.
And your thoughts
years
matter
ago.
because we got in trouble yesterday for not mentioning it at all in our show.
Did we?
Oh, yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah. Sammy,
Might
bad
be.
producing.
That's
Your
on
thoughts?
me. That's on me, guys.
Boogs, your thoughts, pal?
I love it how he just throws it across the bow at you there, Sammy. Eh? It's unbelievable.
That's all right. It's all good. It's almost a summer, bud.
Pin cushion. Zegras is polarizing. He's a lot of flash and dash and happy-go-lucky, but it doesn't work like that when you're trying to build a culture to win. Philly can take the chance. Here's two sides of it. Philly can take the chance because they are in that mode where they can roll the dice and hope. He's got 1 year left on his deal. You hope that it works out. He's at 5-5. That's a great example, Kyper, of a guy who came off a couple of good years, signed that deal with Anaheim at 5-5, and then it caved. Paling, he's a bottom feeder. He's a bottom six guy. It's amazing how much he's bounced around already as a player, but he's a big body. He scored actually on balance. Whatever he had last year, 31 points, 12 goals, 19 assists off the top of my head, something like that. He's going to give him more meat and determination at the bottom of the lineup, where Zegras is going to come into Philly and hopefully get back to somewhere close to where he was a couple years ago offensively. But boy, oh boy, Rick Tocchet, he's going to be in his office a lot. He's going to be having to get this kid to mature and not be so flamboyant, I guess is the best way. It doesn't work like that in the National Hockey League. You're on your hardest days. You can't just be happy-go-lucky. You got to have a B game. You have to have a grit game. And I'll give the kid a little bit of credit. He was only like a -8 last year and limited amount of playing time. Where the previous 2 years like that, before that was like -23, -25. So he did make more of an effort. But when he isn't engaged, oh my goodness, boy, oh boy. He looks like Willie in Toronto, Willie Nylander. You know when Willie sometimes he does the blow by on the forecheck or something like that. Zegras has got a lot of that in him, and it's going to be a challenge for the Flyers. So I like what Anaheim's doing though, and you know what they're doing. They're setting up. They got $33 million in cap space. They're setting themselves up for a big signing or two here.
Books, just want to draw on your personal experience as a NHL scout here, because once upon a time, Trevor Zegras was a top 10 pick. Okay, we saw him at the World Juniors. He was a can't-miss kid. They put him on a cover of a video game, and here we are this week, and you couldn't even get a first-round pick out of him. And I don't mind Flyers taking a chance. I don't mind even Pat Verbeek saying, I can't win with this guy. I got to get rid of him. But did Verbeek just wait too long and watch this asset just keep circling the drain to the point where you couldn't even get a first-round pick back for him? What would that have done to, like, scouts with Anaheim or the organization in whole to watch such a deep an asset go down like that?
Yeah, no, it stinks. I got to be perfectly honest with you. There'll be a lot of questions asked, and the thing about it is when they went into the rebuild, they were going to be drafting the best available player no matter what. And then you're going to nurture that asset. You're going to develop them, et cetera, et cetera. Here's my take on it. You talk about video game covers. You talk about all the, like, riding around. And you remember he's riding like a mini go-kart thing in Anaheim in the underbelly of the rink. Like, just smiley, smiley, smiley. Here's the thing, boys. On your worst day, this is how I scout it. On your worst day, and this is where I had a problem with Zegras all along. When I go scout a player, if he's high end, I know what you can do high end, right? I know what you can do. But on your worst day, I'm talking about when you fail an exam, you're feeling, crappy, you got a little bit of the flu, whatever the case may be. When I can still see you perform at a high level on your worst days, now I know I got something. Mm-hmm. I think the Anaheim Ducks went through that process of seeing him on his worst days and just recognizing that when his worst days aren't even close to good enough to help us win games, period. And they did everything they possibly could. It stinks to send that out the door. It really does. The thing about it is they've had so much draft capital and they're so far under the cap for so many years now. They're going to be able to hide that, but it doesn't feel good behind the scenes. Marty Madden, their director of scouting, he does a fantastic job, has forever, but he's not feeling good about it for sure.
Yeah. So as you head towards this draft, you say that you don't talk to other people to get their opinion. You just do your own opinion.
Nobody's there in L.A.
Well, fair enough. Even if they were, though, where does your opinion differ from the consensus in this draft?
It starts to differ. Well, I think it differs for some at number one, but if you guys watch that special on Schaefer on Sportsnet that ran, like, this kid he's all world, so he's number one for me all day long. But I'm off the grid at number two. I've got Caleb Desnoyers from the Moncton Wildcats going number two.
Really?
And the reason, yeah, he's 6'2". Some people got him going at like 6, 7, or 8, and that's way too late for my liking. He's a 6'2" kid. He's 186 pounds right now. He's going to be 210 pounds Bourne when he's done. He plays all situations. Okay, there's like a line in the sand for me at the top of the draft class. Michael Misa, Caleb Desnoyers, they can play all situations, right? Hagens can't. He's going to be that offensive guy, and he's going to score at even strength. He'll be great 3-on-3 in overtime, whatever. But Caleb Desnoyers, I'll take 15 less points, maybe even 20, kind of like what we did with Barkov back in the day in Florida when we selected him. You knew what you were going to get in the all-round, and that was going to make our group much deeper and much better. So Caleb Desnoyers, right at number two, is an outlier for a lot of people. I've had some pushback about that. I don't care. That's where he's going to be for me. And I think that he's a top-line centerman that you build around for years to come. And by the way, if San Jose did pick him, you'd have Celebrini and Desnoyers back-to-back. I think that's a hell of a way to build your team.
What does a decentralized draft feel like a couple of days out from the weekend?
Stinks. It's brutal. It's no fun. Like, well, it's not no fun. I'm having a hell of a good time. Don't get me wrong. I didn't wear the shirt. Right? I didn't wear the shirt for no reason at all, right? But it doesn't feel the same. Like the combine took on more of a convention feel this year compared to years gone by, and I think it's the reason that everybody's not here. I hope we get back to it. There are some kids here. I think there's about 60 of them, but the hotel it's not all decorated up in the NHL stuff, and you don't see the signs downtown LA here. You don't see any of that. Now, I haven't been over to the theater where it's going to happen, the Peacock Theater, but I'm looking forward to us getting back to the way we did it before, because that's unique. It's fun. It's great for everybody.
Just quickly before we let you go, between now and Friday night, do you expect more deals?
I do. Yeah, I do. I expect more trades. NHL roster guys. I think that I'd keep a close eye on Utah. I think you guys might even agree on that. Like, Utah's got found money at number 4 right now, moving up 10 spots in the draft. I think they're in win now mode, or at least get into the playoffs now mode. So I do believe there's going to be a lot of noise here before Friday night.
Okay, I promise this is the last one. Okay, are we going to see some really goofy contracts come July 1st with this bump up of $10 million for the next 3 years on the salary cap?
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
we
are. We're going to see
15, 16 million a year kind of numbers.
God, I hope not. I really hope not, because here's what happens. Thank you for putting this on me when we're walking out the door. But here's what happens. This free agency class isn't as good as next year's, fellas. And everybody in the league is impatient. That's how the league, everybody's programmed that way. They can say what they want. They're impatient. So they see a bunch of opportunities to buy Christmas presents and throw them under the tree right now. They spent X number of dollars. And then guess what happens? Next year, when that free agency crop's even bigger, and the money really has to be spent on that group of players because they're better, teams are going to be sitting there holding the bag, buying out players or trying to make Evander Kane type deals and whatever else. So if I'm running a team right now, I'm looking for shorter end contracts, responsible money. Even if it means I take a step back or stay the same for a year, wait this out, because goofy money next week is going to affect you long term.
Books, great stuff as always, man. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your time in lovely California.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on. Have a great day. See you, Sammy.
Good luck, buddy. Appreciate it.
Pro Hockey and Sportsnet.ca. NHL former scout, Jason Bukala.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like the point about Desnoyers. I don't know how to say it, but, like if Hagens is going to be a one-way guy, I like getting the guys two-way.
Okay, you know what stuck out for me with him is him talking about next year already with the free agent market and more money coming into the system and certain teams that may have to stay patient. So I'll circle back to Vancouver. Is this the year Vancouver needs to just stay calm? And I'll throw it to Sammy's Toronto Maple Leafs. Is this the off year that they have to take a step back
Can I read you the list of free agents from next summer?
Yeah. I mean, we don't know who's going to get there, but yes.
Connor McDavid, Panarin, Bobrovsky, Jack Eichel, Ovechkin, Kaprizov, Makar, Patrick Lane, Trouba, John Carlson, Jason Robertson is a RFA, Kyle Connor. Some names.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all those guys could get signed this year.
For sure.
But
But they're not under contract yet, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to do in sports, particularly when you have elite talent in their prime like Austin Matthews and William Nylander. Like, is there enough in Vancouver that you're like, we got to go while Petey's in his prime? Maybe not. Maybe not quite, but it's a tough thing to do, Kip, to willingly step back.
Listen,
when you don't know that you're going to land
know,
something.
I know, but
a year
that's the calculated risk. And it's a hard thing to do, especially when you charge some places $200, $250, $300 a ticket. The pressure to
I don't think these
deliver.
teams can do it.
In my opinion, I think they should say screw that and pay Brad Marchand $9 million. That's what I think they should do.
Sammy, the issue is it still may not be enough.
No. Yeah, so anything new on that since we talked yesterday?
Outside of Florida trying to convince their team to stay intact, no, I don't think anything's imminent.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
everybody
you would think-
just remains patient.
You would think they should do that. That would make a lot of sense. But no, I mean, these are teams, Toronto in particular. Like, you know, you're in Game 7 of the second round last year. You feel like you're not a bad team. You're close. You've been aiming at being good now. I don't think you can say we're going to willingly step back. I do think that you, as I said yesterday, not going to fix these problems through UFA. So you have to make some trades.
What % chance of Connor McDavid do you have to stay? Like, what if there's a percentage chance of him signing with your team the following offseason? Like, what does the percentage have to be for you to take a step back?
I don't think you can do it. I don't
Okay.
think you. I mean, over 50.
Okay, Kipper. Because I would say like
I think
100%.
I think it's way too early to be thinking like that. But if Connor goes into the fall and the fall turns into Christmas, then
I just
then
there
you can
can't.
be a lot more aggressive on
But
where
if
you
he was
want to
available,
go.
you would ship everyone out. You don't care at that point. You're like, we'll just have him.
But no, I mean, if you knew where he wanted to go,
Mhm.
there's no way that you're going to trade all your assets to try to get him, and then you come here.
First of all, there is no trade. There is no trade out there for Connor McDavid.
Okay.
There isn't.
Okay.
So I think the theory is that he either kind of plays it out
Stays or leaves.
or he signs his new contract with Edmonton. Those are the two choices.
I also think that it's silly when people talk about that trade stuff because it's like he doesn't want to weaken the team he wants to go play for.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I was getting at. It's like what the Leafs would have to trade, or what the Rangers would have to trade, or what the Kings would have to trade to get him before.
Undercut his
Yeah,
chance.
and then you're
It's-
done.
It's there is a middle on that because Connor also understands that teams have to alleviate some money if he was going to go there. So the easiest way to do that is probably send it back to Edmonton, but it would just it wouldn't be a fair fight, right? It just there's nothing that can be equal other than you're taking someone's headache away.
Last Oilers thing, Andy Strickland tweeted that Evan Bouchard is monitoring the upcoming negotiations with Connor McDavid, but don't expect him to come off his $10 million per season ask.
And I don't blame him.
I don't either. I don't even
again,
think it's unreasonable.
I'll stand by the fact that I don't think he is a bona fide number one defenseman to lead a Stanley Cup, but he can be a part of a group, and he's special when it comes to offense. He is special, and it is worthy of a $10 million contract. But I don't think he's going to pretend to be anything other than what he is right now, and that is a very gifted player offensively. And you leave it at that. But I'll go back to Dobson a little bit here. If you were to trade out, if you were to put Bouchard on the Islanders and take away the chemistry with McDavid and Draisaitl on a power play, how good is he?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I mean, a worthwhile question. The other thing.
Yeah, you're right. The point production, it's like, oh, he's got all these points. It's like, well, he's firing it up to 29 and 97.
The flank, and the flank does stuff.
And it works.
That they don't in Buffalo.
He does make great plays and he hammers it hard in the net, but those guys obviously help.
But I will say the $10 million cap, and Jay Fresh had tweeted something today about Bouchard and what a $10 million contract today is worth compared to, under this cap.
Okay.
As the cap goes up and you're taking X percentage of it at $10 million this year, and he's got it at 9.2 the next year, then 8.5, 7.8, 7.5, all the way down to 6.6 at the end of the deal. By fraction of the cap that it takes up. My point is that a $10 million contract sounds scary right now. If you do it for 8 years, not that scary for a guy who's playing on your top pair.
That's very fair.
In his mid-20s.
Yeah. Very fair.
Yeah, listen,
I think it happens.
No bones about him re-upping at 70 or 80 million bucks.
Yeah.
Game time?
Game time.
It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Going back to the well with the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Big win last night. George Springer, grand slam. Let's go. Bouncing back from the tough loss on Sunday afternoon against the Chicago White Sox. Tonight, again, in Cleveland, 6:40 first pitch on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. As always, the Jays are handing the ball to Max Scherzer.
Hey,
he is
he's
making
back.
his return to the
I watched
rotation.
his first game in person.
I thought he was actually pretty good in that game
He
until
was.
he left. Kipper thought he was done for sure. I thought that he was just a $15 million coach now, but he is actually pitching. And give me Max Scherzer over 4.5 strikeouts tonight at plus 115.
Yeah, you can do that in 2 innings.
Yeah, and he'll get 3 innings tonight, and he'll be able to do it. So give me Max Scherzer over 4.5 strikeouts at plus 115.
15 mil a year, and we're pushing 3 innings out of him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's
Start
got
somewhere, baby.
he's got
Yeah.
2 under his.
What a life.
Hey, he'll be pitching 7 when they get to the ALCS.
He lit up Buffalo when he was down there. Just darts.
Did he
Oh
actually?
yeah, he looked good. Like he looked like himself. So hopefully he comes up here and listen.
So what was it, a thumb? What was the deal?
I don't know. His thumb was
Thumbnail.
connected to
His nail,
his
wasn't it?
thumb was connected to the elbow, which is
Oh,
connected
and
to
then
the hip.
that's
It's
right.
like his whole.
Okay.
He's old. Like he's an
Assist.
old guy.
He's got
But
the olds.
listen,
The rubber bands are dry.
they needed somebody in the rotation to give him a few more innings. He's a veteran guy. If they can get some decent innings out of him, it'd be worth $15 million maybe. Anyways, that was Game Time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, Sammy, we got a little mailbag.
I have 5 questions for you.
5
But they're all Leafs, so
huge,
get ready for Leafs.
burning questions in our mailbag. You won't want to miss this. Back with more Real Kyper and Bourne after these words. Welcome back to the program. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, and yours truly. All right, Sammy. Dazzle us with your mailbag.
I'm not going
Oh, boy.
Go ahead.
Phrasing.
Bring it out, pal.
From Zach. Over under 3.5 trades at the draft involving current players and not teams trading up or down. They don't count.
My initial thought on that is define at the draft, because like
Around the draft?
yeah, like
Starting now.
Now.
from now to the draft,
Yes.
over.
Now.
Right now.
Right?
No.
No.
Not including
No.
Evander Kane.
Right? Now.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
I got over 3.5 trades.
Yes.
At least it feels like everyone's talking about talking.
Talking.
It feels like a thing.
Yes.
There's buzz. There's rumors about.
Yeah, there's hearsay.
There is hearsay.
There always
Rumblings,
is
if you will.
something. Like in the past when I've actually gone to the draft to work it, I'd come off the plane and there'd be like 2 or 3 trades. The biggest one I remember was, I think, Philly and LA around Jeff Carter and
Oh yeah,
and Mike Richards.
But didn't
that was a
Carter
big deal.
Carter went somewhere else before he went to LA?
Columbus.
Yeah, Columbus. And then he went to LA.
I really believe that some teams are really itching to do something here.
We said going into the playoffs last year, there's like 11 teams that could have won the cup. there was 20 teams that could have made playoffs. There's a lot of teams who think they're good or close. And then you had everyone else who's trying to get better. There's like 26 buyers right now and a few teams that are like, we're not sure. Pretty much everyone else thinks they're good. So that means a lot of buyers.
From Leafs Loyalist on Twitter. I'm going to give you one guess what he wants to know about. Something about the Leafs. Thoughts on the Leafs flipping Carlo for a C?
I don't like it.
For a
Center. A center, C.
I actually think Carlo's name has come up a few times. And God, with retention, he's making 3.4-ish next year. 3.4 million for the next year and the year after. He's 28 years old. Prime HD man. Big. Really like Carlo.
Kipper,
I really like
Truth Sealer him.
Yeah.
He's not Kipper's favorite.
I'm okay with him.
Okay.
But the one thing that if you are Brad Tree living right now and you need to find a way to get better.
Yeah.
And the previous, general manager kind of left your cupboards really, really bare.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he also bared him up pretty good himself this year at the
Okay,
deadline.
fair enough.
Not just Kyle.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
My whole point in all of this is how many true assets do you have to go get help, even if it is a centerman?
Mm-hmm.
What is out there that is of value that someone would want? And I look at the Leaf roster and I'm like, kind of slim pickings here. Carlo maybe would be one of them. I'll throw you another name out there that, I'm not thrilled about, moving, but there might be some real value that you can collect some assets here in Joseph Wall.
I see what you're saying. I respect what you're
Ooh.
saying in that in order to fill some of these holes, you don't have a lot to exchange. And I'm sitting here talking about you have to trade. Well, who do you want us to trade?
Cowan,
Right.
People, then that's what you get calls on. Oh, you want a second line centerman?
Mm-hmm.
How about giving us Cowan? And
Yeah.
you're like, where are you on that?
Yeah.
We're up. I mean, I would do it. I would do it.
I look at this Leafs decor: Jake McCabe, Chris Tanev, Morgan Riley, Simone Benoit, Oliver Ekman Larson.
You might have to give up a piece here.
You would have Philippe Myers in for Carlo in this instance, which he got better last year. It's a drop off though. It's pretty significant. But yes, I recognize that you're going to have to do something to get better. I'm not saying he's unmovable. I'm saying I like the player. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Right shot, 6'6", whatever, this guy. I love him at 3.4 with another year. So, okay, he's a real chip to me then. Like if you want Carlo, then yes, we're talking about a significant player back. So I hear it.
So
Like Hurdle.
Hurdle.
presently,
Petrangelo's gone.
presently, if we take full value
Hag may
on
be gone.
the Leafs not being close to Tavares, and we know Mitch is out the door,
Mhm.
they have no second line right now.
No, they have no
No.
second line. And
No
if
second
you
line.
and you know to follow up on this, Vegas is without Petro, and you mentioned Hag may go. All of a sudden, their D.
There's a lot of names here.
Yeah.
Another name I hear is Nick Waugh.
Oh, available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like him?
I do like him.
I like him too.
Yeah.
And he's $3 million. They're going to have to unload a little bit here. They got a few choices to unload, but Nicholas Waugh would be one of them.
Yeah. The Leafs second line currently on Daily Faceoff is McMahon, Domi, Cowan. So
Oh,
you got some work to
need
do.
a bit of a step from Easton.
Yeah.
Lots of work for Brad Tree Living.
Oh my God, that is
Keep
scary.
Nick Robertson.
Okay,
That's all I gotta say.
and in that,
By the way, I do mean that. Keep it.
No, they're shopping him.
please, I don't want to have one
Nicky.
more Nick Robertson conversation next
Oh,
year.
give me Nicky.
This is in that sort of conversation. Chances Brad Treliving looks at targeting Kadri. He's exactly what the team needs. The group that traded him is gone. Brad was the one who signed him in Calgary, but are the Flames simply too petty to deal with their ex?
No, not petty.
No, I agree. Not petty.
But Kadri,
What do you have? If you're Calgary, right? What do you have?
I don't think.
Oh, like, what the hell are you trading us
Yes.
for? Yes.
Yeah, and
Cowan.
Kadri is not enough of a
Cowan
plus.
again.
But he's not enough of a plus asset. 4 more years at $7
Yeah,
million.
but you just talked about Bouchard, what that'll look like in a year.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm just saying I don't think it's like, what is Calgary going to get back to feel like we're better today for this? And maybe discount. I don't know.
It's always Cowan.
Plus.
Cowan plus?
Yeah.
Well, could they trade a 2038?
For Kadri? I'm hard out on that.
2038
Hard.
first round pick or something?
Kadri's, come on. Kadri's legit.
I know he's legit, but he's going to turn 35 at the end of this summer here.
Is he really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yes. October.
I know. I
35.
heard just Marchand, same thing, right? 37. Like, he stinks. He's no good. It's over.
No. It's not that it's over. It's that, what do you think? So last year, what did he have for points? He had
Kadri?
Kadri had a great year last year.
Yeah.
Great year.
And he's a
67
leader.
points.
And he's a leader. And
Yeah.
he's a culture guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that, he's
That's so
Brad
funny 'cause
Marchand,
that's-
but they kind of run
Mhm.
parallel here. Stanley Cup champions.
By the way,
Play the game hard.
That's
Reputations
I don't
for playoffs.
want it to come off that I don't think Kadri's a good player. I think he's a great player
love
and a
Kadri.
good dude. Like, by all
Love
accounts,
Kadri.
very much pro Kadri. It's the contract where it's like, you got to give up Easton Cowan. Cowan is a blue chip.
But you give up Cowan now and you have no prospects,
None.
no blue chips,
None.
no can't miss.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I know.
Let alone plus.
I don't
And
want
now,
to
and now go back and revisit your second line again.
Well, listen, you haven't signed anyone yet, right? It's UFA season coming up. Like, moves are.
Yeah.
It's that time of year where those guys aren't listed.
You got to pull something out July 1st.
I don't want to
I
sound.
don't know if you do.
I don't want to get too grim here, but with all that talk about Bennett and finding a Bennett, it's like the Leafs had Bennett.
Yeah.
They had their Bennett. They had their greasy second line shutdowny type second line center,
Make it
and
4.5.
he did dumb things in the playoffs. And Kyle Dubas was like, I hate that, and he traded him for absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had their Bennett, and it's heartbreaking. He should have retired a Leaf. He should have been a Leaf his whole career. Sorry.
Connor Brown too.
Sorry to get so mad about that. God, it pisses me off. Would you, this is a wild one, Leafs ride along. Would you trade Morgan Riley for Erik Karlsson, assuming the Pens retain in the cap hits matchup?
How many years does Carlson have left?
Not as many as
Couple? Yeah, I would.
not as many as Morgan Riley.
Yes. I do it. You, Kip?
Probably, yeah.
Carlson
Is it
has-
3 more years?
No, this and one more.
I would
At 10, right?
I would bank
Yes.
on insulating him with good defensive players, which McCabe could cover up.
Tanev,
Tanev could cover up. Benoit has been solid.
Yep.
So the answer is yeah,
At
I
least
think I
there'd be
would.
a
And
clear role.
a better depth guy to come up the ice with Austin Matthews and Willie Nylander.
53 points last year.
I'd roll the dice on that one, Sammy.
Mhm.
But Pittsburgh has to eat.
I'm sure
Some
Kyle will
money.
be thrilled to do the Leafs a favor.
I gotta wash it.
But at least
I gotta watch the
Shanahan's not
money.
here anymore. So.
Yeah.
I can't take on the extra money.
And the other one was Morgan. The other mailbag one was Morgan Riley related. Morgan Riley and to Vancouver for a second, and Joshua. Win-win for both teams. Morgan can go home and at least move money while adding some new DNA.
Yeah.
I think that's one that Morgan would definitely lift his no move for.
Vancouver?
I think so. He's going home.
Yeah, but I mean, is going home always the?
I don't
Mitch
know.
Marner's been home for
Maybe
8
I'm
years
wrong.
and he can't get out of here fast enough. You know?
Always a chance I could be wrong.
I don't know. Anyways, that was the mailbag.
All right. Good work. Thanks, everyone, for those.
Yay.
It is going to be fascinating this year as you head toward the draft to see what it looks like, hey? Like this decentralized draft.
Everybody's just convinced this is like a one-off.
But the players are there.
Sucks. Like Matthew Schaefer. I get to be the first overall pick, and I don't get to do the thing that every other guy's ever gotten to
And
do.
everyone's like, oh, was it COVID? And he's like, no,
No.
they just didn't want a 1 year.
They just like for one random year for no reason at all. Where was last year? The Sphere. It's like, oh my God, tough bounce.
Is there a middle ground?
Yeah, brutal.
Doing it in the lobby of a hotel next
Yeah.
year?
But think of the money they're saving.
Who cares?
Kipper, where's the draft
Where
show
is
even?
it?
Where's
Are
the
we
draft show?
giving it
from?
to Schaefer?
I'm joking.
Is it in Frege's hotel room? Where's the draft show?
I don't know. I don't know any of those questions.
All right.
Sorry for yelling.
Okay, just like that, it's over. What do we got looking for? Jay's game?
We're off tomorrow. Jay's playing an afternoon game.
Oh, okay, there you
then
go.
we're back Friday with Mac, right?
We are. Our thanks to Jason Bukala, and we're back on Friday.